Good evening and welcome to Speak Up Club Inner Circles, Friday night number 8. This is the last session of this month's theme, Impactful Conversations. And today we are here to have a very special session with an open mic on nostalgic conversations. This month we have had different insightful sessions from breaking the ice to lasting connect to deeper conversations. And this being the extension of the theme, Impactful Conversations, because when we talk of life and we talk of nostalgia, when we talk of our past, one major element which builds our connections and which builds our memories is how we have conversations. That's the power of how the conversations create memories or create connections between all of us and have a deeper impact. So when we look back today, if I were to ask you, what are you nostalgic about, or what do you think of and have fond memories about? You might have pictures, vivid images that come to your mind, but to make that image or that picture deeper will be surely a conversation that would have made that impact and that would have created that kind of a nostalgia for you. So if I were to ask you, what is nostalgia for you? What would you say? Janisha, Umadhu, Uma, what is nostalgia for you? Akanksha?
Nostalgia for me is being able to live back the old feelings that I felt back then.
Live back the old feelings. But isn't it a normal human tendency that the timestamp or the footprint that an experience has, as time passes by, it becomes vague and it becomes blurry?
No, the memory could be blurry, but the feelings usually still remain the same.
Interesting. That's the power of nostalgia, possibly the extended continuation of the feeling which was there at a certain point in time, and that's the reason possibly we call it nostalgia. Uma ma'am?
Missing
Yeah,
the
go
things
ahead.
of the past. Missing the things of the past.
So what is nostalgia for you? Don't tell Speak Up Club.
It is always the same thing, like what you miss, the things what you had with you and you miss with the due course of time, and you recall and recollect. That is nostalgia, a kind of craving you have for something.
Interesting. Thank you, Rabia. Uma ma'am? After that, Ellen.
Yeah, something which made me smile, feel happy, and something which made me take a different what do you say, it created an impact in me. Those instances I remember.
Wonderful, wonderful. Ellen?
Actually, I can tell my childhood memory before 5th standard. Everything is, I am not bothered about anything, only happy.
Interesting. Well, we'll come to the stories. We'll come to the conversations as we progress. Wonderful. A memory. Wonderful. Who else? Sri Krishna, Madhu?
I feel like whenever we feel hurt by someone saying some words, but at that moment we feel like, uncomfortable, but later if it is a genuine thing, definitely we learn a lot, and those turns our life also sometimes. I feel I had some experiences.
Interesting. So just one small question. Does nostalgia have to be only about good times? Or is it also accompanied with sadness about some event or something like that? I'm just asking, I don't know.
Maybe.
I think it is accompanied both. It's a mixture of both. That's why it's feelings. It could be any feelings, but it is still a feeling.
Got it. Interesting. Thank you. Who was saying something? Someone was saying something other than Akanksha also?
Uma madam, I guess.
Uma, go ahead.
Yeah, like I agree with Akanksha. It could be a mixed feeling of happy moments or sad moments. So sad moments are also nostalgic when you remember them. No?
Interesting. I'm loving this. Yep. So by definition, nostalgia is wistful or extremely sentimental yearning for return to or for some past period or irrevocable condition. That's how the dictionary or the definition of nostalgia is. But what we'll be doing today is, when you talk of nostalgia, we talk of a lot of personal experiences as well, largely personal as well. But when it comes to certain life-changing moments or interactions or engagements which have happened in the past, conversations become a one very important element of nostalgia, whether it's conversations with yourself, that can be the ones that you were describing until now, that your personal experiences are, those are conversations with yourself as well. But apart from that, a large part of the conversations that happen with people at different times of different types. It could be strangers, it could be some relatives, it could be some close ones, it could be family, it could be spouse, it could be anyone. The idea is certain conversations leave a very deep impact on us. Deep need not be about change or massive transformation. Deep could also mean like what someone just mentioned. It brings back a smile to your face that this happened. So today what we'll be doing is over the next 40-45 minutes, we will be having 4 segments wherein we dig deeper on the conversations that we have had at different times in our life on different facets. So I will share the facet or the time that we're talking of, and what is that one conversation that comes to your mind. I want you to share that about that facet. Everyone's clear on this? Clear? Perfect. So let's get going with the first segment. And like everyone, if someone is still in that period, so please excuse me for that. You can still talk of a bit of earlier time in that period. One thing which all of us are very fond of, or something that holds a very special place in our life, is our childhood. What is that one earliest memory that you have of a conversation that you had with anyone during your childhood days that left a deep mark on you? And possibly, if you can still remember that, may not be the exact words, but like someone mentioned, the feel that you got or the experience that you had during your childhood days that left and creates a nostalgic moment for you even today. Childhood can be depending on your age. So if you are in your 50s right now, 20s can be your childhood. That's okay. So let's open with the first person who will go for it. Who's coming up? Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, I still remember when I passed my 10th class in second class. Okay, what do you mean by second class? 50% score. Okay, for younger generation, it was very poor standards. But for me, in government school standards, it's feel like average. But once I passed it, I'm in studied in government schools and all. I don't know. I got many wishes from many relatives, friends, neighbors, and everyone, and I never felt that situation in my life earlier. From then onwards, my concentration on studies and what next. I wanted to be. Those questions raised, and because of that, my concentration and where I wanted to go. In those days, I wanted to become a CA, like chartered accountant. So I mean, after that, appreciations, I got it. I feel even now also I remember those things. Means really, I think those are really impact. So those appreciations, small appreciations. I'm not a big scorer or state ranker, but still at my situation, I felt like those are given a positive impacts in my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. I think, yes, indeed, at some point in time, each one of us have got appreciated for different things in our life. And I think that has a different power altogether to kickstart or start the ball rolling towards the things that we all aspire for. I think that's a one small push that is very important in our life. Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Uma ma'am? Don't wait for me to ask, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I vaguely remember my childhood days, maybe age of 6 or 7. Those days we used to play the teacher game. And most of the time I was the teacher or the leader or monitor. And maybe I was a little bossy at that time. And the children used to come and complain to my mother, saying Uma is very bossy, or she gives us punishment and things like that. So that is a vague recollection that I have. Other than that, I was not able to recollect anything to tell as a.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I think you'll have to switch off your video because there's a internet bandwidth issue. I believe we were able to hear you, but we were not able to see you. Thank you for that. I think I'll have to take a feedback from your current students though to understand if that has changed.
Nataraj is saying that my husband is saying I became bossy soon after got married also.
The trend continues. Interesting. Thank you, ma'am. Sri Krishna.
For me, it is. I can't remember a particular thing. One thing is during my 9th and 10th class. So in those times, Parayana ka asar to bahut tha. Okay, so in that time there was an influence that AI Triple E is good, IIT is good, JEE is good, but deep down even I know that I am not good with this maths or physics, chemistry. I am very bad, horrible at it. I know it, but the thing is, there were suggestions coming, in that institution we have junior college, and also you can do AI Triple E, that is relatively easier than JEE, something like that. So at that point of time, some of our neighbors who knew me like for some, not I would say some 4 or 5 years maybe. So they suggested, why can't you take commerce actually? So I didn't know much about commerce, but so I used to do online transactions at time. That in that time frame, I think Paytm tabhi chalu hua tha as a small business. So that time I used to do chota mota transaction. It's like just like if you are interested in transactions and all, you may like accountancy and all. So chalo theek hai, let's try commerce. Why I say that nostalgic is it changed my life completely, because after becoming commerce student, one thing is I was a duller in the class. मैं वो बैक बेंचर रहते हैं ना, 35 marks मिला बस खुश और कुछ नहीं चाहिए लाइफ में. But from that I think I evolved from that stage, and eventually many people may don't like, but I became a topper also. So in that sense it was nostalgic.
Interesting. The trend changing moment where Paytm karo, and here's we have a different Sri Krishna. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, welcome Shahid and Vikas. We are talking about some nostalgic conversation during our childhood times that you still remember today. So let's continue the next person, Dinesha.
Yeah.
Who's coming up? Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have a lot of memories. Recently, my wife asked, so recollected. I say small bit stories. Actually, first what I used to do whenever the civil work is going on around me, I used to see. I built small. So next street also there means they just come that small with whatever we know. We used to build that one. Second one, I'm actually my sister and all they used to tell. I will miss it 3 to 4 times. Even my father also police officer. So whenever they're going, actually, they used to tie somewhere, pillar, chair, or somewhere. Or else I 2 times I missed. They told actually that still I'm remembering that one. So after that, actually, we used to go temple for getting that prasad. With my childhood days, actually, we used to go. Or else that the street itself, they know I like that prasad. So whenever they're going temple, they will bring to me and they give to my house also. That also I'm remembering. So a lot of actually that small stories. First time my friend came to my house and he told actually some actor came like that. Actually with the shots we went to one film. First time bus and everything we are going. I'm eating actually the window he opened at inform called me. Director or some movie actor came to temple. Come, we'll go like that. I went immediately like that. So like that, I did lot of things. While going cricket, I will put dosa in packet. While going only, I will have. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Those are some interesting, I would say, very weird and different nostalgic moments. But yes, that's how nostalgia is. Each one for their own. Dinesha, go ahead.
Sir, most of the time I remember one incident happened when I was in 7th standard. Annual day is happening. All of a sudden, they announced anybody wants to come and perform on the stage. Somewhere hidden talent was there. I directly went to on the stage. I said I am going to perform modern Ekalavya, some part. Abhimanyu part. Modern Abhimanyu, some story I heard somewhere. I am going to perform. Initially, like 2-line dialogues went very well. There were like 10 to 12 dialogues. In between, almost like 4 minutes, I completely stopped and standing. Entire body was started shivering. Not even single word coming, but I was still standing. Initially, I was able. Once I start, everybody started clapping. All of a sudden, I went. Once I stand there, people started like, oh yes, went like a like a great performer. Now you see all this. That was like a great changer in myself that I was taken as a some kind of positive way. Then in college days also I have taken as nominated as a leader. So where I started implementing my stage fear, everything. But still that moment I was not able to like go out of my mind. That's
The
the one thing
beginning,
I would say.
possibly that's the spark that the beginning gave you. Thank you, Dinesha. Akanksha, Hasanuddin sir, Rabia, anyone quickly? Shahid, hi, if you'd like to share something,
Yeah, sure. I would love to share.
go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Yeah. So regarding this, I would share a story of mine when I was a kid. And back then I was in, I guess, grade 5, 4 or 5. And we, as a kid, like, we loved playing games a lot. But our parents were like, you are not going to play games. We used to get 1 hour, and that too for TV shows like Power Rangers or something kind of cartoon, Chota Bheem and everything. But me and my cousin, what we used to do is when we see like, our parents are not there at home, we used to go to our friend's house and play video games there the whole time and then come back home. But once we were caught, and then it was a really hard moment for us because our parents were strict, and if they come to know that we are for sure that we are going to get heavy beatings for that and everything, like I have informed you not to go, but why are you going outside? So that's about like that side. But the mom was okay. She used to support us. Okay, go. But Chiran used to support us in getting beatings. Like, yeah, okay, get the beatings now and then don't do it from the next time. But we kept it doing even after getting beatings, like 1 or 2 or 3 times. We kept doing it. That's how it
Very
was.
interesting. I think as a child, we have our own fascinations to things, despite the beatings, we'll continue with those things. Thank you, Shahid, for sharing that. Who's up next? Vikas, you'd like to do?
Yeah. So I have my story is very similar to Dinesa's. So how I remember it was I think the class 7th when I was part of NCC, National Cadet Group, and then we went for a parade, a very big ground, and then I was supposed to deliver my speech. And for the first time I was kind of involved in that kind of big crowd. In front of that big crowd I went and I was about to deliver, and I was not sure that I will be getting a mic. At the moment the mic came, and it was a very huge like ground, so all of a sudden my ears started like getting echoed. I was trembling a bit. It was all around full of carrot crops, and I was in the middle, and this kind of the sound is echoing. But however, the speech I have rehearsed the speech to such an extent that without hearing also, means I was without seeing or without hearing, I just thought that okay, let me deliver it anyway. I have come prepared. Now let me see like how it goes, and then I delivered it somehow. There was a fear inside me, but it was not very much evident outside. That was a plus point. And surprisingly the next day, like I got like very good appreciation, and my I got second prize in that speech actually, and my name also came in the newspaper, local newspaper. So it was really a pleasant surprise for me, and I really remember and cherished for a longer time of that incident.
Interesting. Thank you, Vikas, for sharing that. That was a nice That was one thing I think you'll never forget until every time you keep going on stage, that will be a memory that will keep coming up, that this is where it started, or this is how it started. Wonderful. Thank you everyone for sharing your nostalgic conversations or nostalgic moments in your childhood. Now let's move forward a bit, and let me move to the next, or possibly one thing which I think all of us would have experienced in our past, if we have had a good teacher, a parent, mentor who has had a big influence on our life. So possibly the teachers or parents or mentors are one of the biggest influence on our lives. Now, the question is, share us one conversation that you have had that has made a deep impact on you, possibly the learnings that you have had or taught you some of the most important lesson in your life. One conversation that you can recollect, which has helped you with your one conversation with your parent, teacher, or mentor, whomsoever you consider as someone who has taught you a very important lesson for life. Who would like to go? Akanksha? Go ahead.
Good evening. So this was one conversation I've had recently. It was like 2 months ago or something. And the impact it has on you, I'll explain it in a way. So basically, I was having my pre-finals back then. It was a time period before my first pre-final, and I was in a complete panic mode because I didn't know what to do. They had too many expectations on me, and I was really afraid of that. So I decided to I thought it's better to talk it out to a teacher. So I decided I'll talk to my lecturer, whom I was kind of close to, and I really admired him. I asked him to wait before going home because we couldn't have a conversation during the college hours. So I asked him to wait, and he waited for me. And the conversation we had, it had such an impact on me that I have my pre-final tomorrow, pre-final 2 tomorrow, and I'm sitting here in a session with you all right now. So that was the level of impact it had on me. Basically, I was like, I'm being too focused. People are too focused on me. They are trying to blame me. And the only thing he told me was that, what if you're being highlighted? I'm like, it's being for the bad thing. The only thing he told me, what if it's for the good thing or the bad thing? The only thing that matters is you're being highlighted. And that's great. There were teachers who went and complained about me asking too many doubts to the principal. And here this guy was telling me it's okay. What? That's just your nature. Don't try to change yourself for someone else. The way he motivated me that I will score well and actually ended up in me scoring really well. So it was not something I expected before the day before my pre-final. While I was panicking. He had a conversation with me for 1.5 hours or something, saying the same things over and over again, with me obviously saying the same things over and over again. I think it's not about someone saying the thing. I think it's how much you wanting to listen from them. This could have been said by some YouTube random guy telling me, you can do it, you will do it. But that wouldn't have had the same impact. It's about who you choose to listen from and someone who tells you in a way that makes you want to listen. Thank you.
Thank you, Akanksha. Now I know why you don't listen to your parents. And you need someone else to listen to or someone else to tell the same thing. And then you get to, yeah, he's so wise and he tells me so many things. Wonderful. Thank you. I couldn't have a better teacher. Thank you. Who's coming up next? No, Akanksha, don't respond. Who's coming up next? Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah. It is my second job, I guess. There are many things, but I never forget, even after 20 or 40 years also, the incidents. I was working in one of the MNC company. I didn't say MNC, it's a small company, but the CEO is NRI. He's a very, very cool person and very genuine person who want to support. And whether he's a less studied person or higher double PhD person, he treats respectfully and he gives the opportunities and he'll ask the questions also. So many times I heard this similar question from you, similarly, but those are really helped many times. But his name is Mr. Rajneesh Domulpalli. He's my second company boss at CEO. He encouraged me like anything. Till then, I don't know what I'm capable of. And he given me a lot of opportunities, one after one, because everything by his guidance, I proved myself and I felt like a lot of confidence. Oh, I can also do many things in my life. There I started, confidence level in my life. And indirectly, one word I heard many times, like, like fake it until you make it, like that, right? What he written in his website, in the his film website, about describing me. Madhu Sundarupu is a person who spoke so fast. He need not to be, but very intelligent person. I don't know whether I'm intelligent or what, but that word impacting many times in many places. Whenever I'm in low, because he's a IIT Mumbai, and he's a, like, he invented some Intel chips, and he's a software employee in New York somewhere, and he's a filmmaker. He's a very intelligent person, and from his words, those words, completely blindly I believe that, whether I am intelligent or whatever, he says that I am intelligent. So I mean, that kind of the motivation, many times whenever I'm feeling low or some looking for some path, that really motivated, and I'm very happy now. After that, my life completely changed. Now I'm in a good position.
Thank you, Madhu. I think that's having someone trust you or someone applaud you is something that's a blessing to have. We always tell you, Madhu, all of us tell you, you are very intelligent. Please keep this recording. You can trust us. We might not be from IIT or anywhere, but you can trust us that we are saying that you are intelligent. Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. Dinesha, go ahead.
Sir, in life, we always in the middle, whether it is in the financial or knowledge or skill experience, and we will be seeking with whatever we want from those who are in the above us. And there are people who want to learn from us, those who are in below. Any age, any circumstances, we will be in the middle. That was the one lesson taught by Mr. Praveen Wadalkar, who is one of the mentor. And at the same time, we should not be like low self-esteem or demotivate ourselves. We will be capable at that moment to deliver or contribute something. Presently, whatever the technology, I am below the fan. There is a 2 chairs, putting my one phone and one comfortably. Whatever the comfort I am, because of someone has contributed, that we are enjoying this beauty. At the same time, we have to contribute something. That means the die empty. You mentioned like die empty. Contribute, give it to the society, so that our future generation will benefit from that. These are the 2 things very motivated me. That is the one biggest lesson. That means the lessons, when I have completely opened my mind, he poured that thought that as I will utilize completely. Otherwise, so many things are happening. If my mind is not open, I'm not able to take that inputs. I was open to listen. I consider him as a mentor. He told me, I was very much happy with that. I'm implementing in my life.
Thank you, Dinesha. I like that line. Open, your mind is open to listen. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Dinesha, who's up next? Rabia?
Yes, I would like to share. Good evening, everyone. It's after a long time. I'm feeling so glad and happy to be with you all. The thing is, there are 3 people who are there in my life, though 2 are not there, but still they are there. One, my mama, second, my father, then one of my friends, I can say. These are the people who have taught me many things. And the time when they were present, I did not notice much about it and did not value much about it, I can say. But now, after of late, I started recollecting and think of the past. Then I remember every word spoken by them had some meaning behind it. And that is what is applicable right now in my life. And that is the thing, like, be honest, be sincere, and be trustworthy, and have faith in God. All such kind of things which they used to say it casually. I used to take it easy, but now I started believing in those things and started living on those lines, I can say, which helps me a lot to understand the real meaning of life. And apart from that, after this pandemic also, I can say, I just have realized that life is too short to live, as we used to say from the day one, we know that. But understanding the real meaning of it, and health is wealth, we used to say about it, the phrase and the saying, that also the true meaning of it, we understood, I can say. I understood deeply, and then after, I started taking care of my health as well. And then apart from that, one of my friends who says every time, motivate me, helps me, and says that to be independent, to be on your own, all such kind of things. And from living life also, I have learned many other things, I can say, because these were the times when I was badly in need of things, and it was given to me. in abundance, I can say. So these are the things which are always there, which I live along with them all my life through. I'm going to be with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabia, for sharing that. Who's coming up next? I like that point where you mentioned about the fact that a lot of things were said casually, but it is only later that you realize the meaning of those things. I love that point. Thank you. Who's coming up next? Uma ma'am, Ellen, Hasanuddin sir. Hi Divakar, hi Rashmi. We are talking about one conversation that has had an impact on you with a teacher, a parent, or any mentor. One conversation that has had a big impact on you. We are discussing about that. Uma ma'am, you're on mute. Uma ma'am, go ahead.
So I remember this during my B.Ed. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible now.
So, yeah. So this happened during my B.Ed days, and I remember those days we used to take a teaching aid to teach during our demo sessions. And my mentor or teacher, mathematics teacher, she had given me one clay tablet, which I had to show to see that the numbers were written on clay in those days, and how the old people or the older civilization before numbers were invented used to write something on the clay. So I had to show that to the students, and I had borrowed that from the teacher, and by mistake I had broken that teaching aid, and I was feeling so embarrassed. And she had come to see my class. Usually the teachers come to see how you teach, and she had come for my session, and she was wondering why I didn't use that teaching aid. And somehow I couldn't tell her that it was broken and things like that. And after the session, maybe even after 2-3 days, I was avoiding seeing her. And after some days, then I made myself brave and went and told her that this is what happened. And she said, yes, I was also thinking what happened, why you didn't show the teaching aid and things like that. And she said, it's okay, sometimes mistakes do happen, it's okay. So that gave me a sense of relief. And I felt good that she didn't scold me or anything, and she took it sportively. And somehow I tried to stick it and replace it and mend it and give it back to her. So I felt that sometimes people are understanding and they realize that you don't do it on purpose. And that gave me a sense of relief, and my respect towards her increased.
Interesting. Thank you, ma'am. I think that line that she didn't scold and it is okay to make mistakes sometimes is something which I think builds the depth of the conversation and connects us with people for a long, long time. Thank you for sharing that. Who's coming up next? Anyone? Divakar, Rashmi, AJ, we are discussing about people who have had influence on your life. It could be a conversation with a teacher, a parent, or a mentor. Any story that you'd like to share?
Yeah, actually, I have I need to thank my friend actually. So in diploma, actually, I'm simply sitting. I used to study. Actually, I'm not a below students like that. I can tell. I need to, if all they're studying one day means actually they immediately half an hour before also they can easily they write the exam. For me, not like that. I need to revise daily basis. I need to do daily basis again. Several times I need to do. Even interval also I used to study sometimes. My friend actually told me in front of other department girls also there. So he told actually you are always steady, but you will not get mark. So that time I told him actually you are topper, I'm agree. But this time I'm going to at least one subject, I will get 1 mark more than you. Like that I told him in front of reason my juniors also there. Lot of girls are there. Like that I get triggered there. I told him that semester I got actually topper of that department because of him. 85%, he 80%. Night 2 o'clock, just sleeping also I'll started studying. Like that also I actually suddenly I have that memory. 2 to 3 one time I studied that subject. So that much I studied, I got best because of him, I got engineering and everything. I need to thank him in my life.
Interesting. Sometimes the harshest of the situations could seem like bad at that point in time, but I think they can turn it into a blessing. Depends on how you take it and how you take that up, take the challenge up. Wonderful, Ellen. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Who's up next? Vikas, Shahid, Divakar, Rashmi, anyone? Hasanuddin, sir? If not, I'll move to the next topic. Okay. Okay, let's move to the next topic then. We all have people whom we call friends. Now, there are times when you have a specific moment or a conversation where that casually calling someone friend becomes the real friend. The real friend, when you have had a real conversation, when you have had a conversation where you have opened up or they have opened and shown the real they, real you in the conversation. Share any conversation that you have had at any point in time where you have bonded or connected with someone based on what was shared and where you could connect and resonate with the real person, the other side of the story. Any conversation you have had where you have bonded with someone because of that one conversation. Yes, go ahead, Madhu.
The real one means what? I didn't.
The real one in the sense we call a lot of people our friends, but it isn't until a certain conversation or a certain moment that we get to know that this is a real person, that this is the real friend that I can call off. Any moment or any conversation that has made you believe that this is the real bond or real connection that I've built now. Until then, we call everyone our friends. You call the person whom you have known for 2 days also your friends. That is how it is. But there are instances where we have crossed a certain threshold or connection where you start to feel the real bond or real connection with someone. It could be through one conversation or through an instance or through one situation. Can you share any instance where you have experienced something like that? Madhu, go ahead.
Yeah, his name is Mahesh. He is my ex-colleague. We have many friends, and like everyone, he's also a friend in office. But days going on, whatever the situation comes, the way we feel, both it's like very close. And when any situation comes, how I react, similar way he also react, and he'll come my side, or else whatever stand he takes, I also take his stand. It doesn't it's not like he's my friend. No, we felt like that same way, and so we connected. So we used to go to tea and coffee in the canteen, all those things. But slowly, what happened when I'm really in one of the situation, I felt very bad about something, and I felt like this person I can share. But even still, I have some small doubt. He's an office person. The issue is related to office. Whether I can say, or can I share with one of my friend? He's not in my office premises. But somewhat I felt I trusted him, and we had a small discussion about that. And by surprising the way he reacted, better than me, he is very aggressive than what I'm thinking. In the same way, we more connected, and we discussed a lot, and that day continuously in many topics we connected. From then onwards, whatever it is good or bad, we used to discuss. Even now, I think it's been 8 years, still we have a same strong bond. Even unfortunately, whether they are good or bad, always we love. And from 1 month, I think not 1 month, 2-3 months, I'm inviting him to join. But I don't want to miss him to this good opportunities. Even still half an hour before also I told him. But yeah, someday he'll join, because just what I'm enjoying that once he tasted, definitely he will also start enjoying, because I felt like similar way of thinking he has. So yeah, that's a person whom I can trust and I can share. And even midnight also I can call him, even for my personal problem or even any career. So that's a moment.
Interesting. Thank you, Madhu, for sharing that. Ellen, go ahead.
Yeah, I had one my friend, actually he's from Hyderabad. Both they are staying in Mysore actually. So my roommate, just I will ring, and I'm about to ring. actually what is your dinner or something like that. Not one or two times, several times happened. Actually, what I need to thinking, he will just call me and ask, can we have a dinner, or else you had dinner or something. Again, I'm not feeling well also. Actually, I somewhat stayed away from my house, so he will take care of anything. Actually, I will not feel I'm out from house like that. In case of I'm not feeling well, he used to take care of me anything. Actually, how I will feel, actually my brother also not like this, they will take care of nowadays actually. So he used to take care of me. He used to think lot of things, be similar thinking actually, both like that tomorrow we are going somewhere, that connect, right, that will some extreme level like that I felt. Now also something, one more time something, after 5 years gap, suddenly I'm not feeling well, suddenly you called and asked me, you are not feeling well, something, some connectivity somewhat, universe connect or something I felt. Yeah.
Very interesting, Ellen. I think
May I?
once again after Dinesha.
Okay.
Dinesha, go ahead.
So I know a person from past 2 years, but recently he started walking every day around 6 kilometers. Because of my financial this year goals, I also develop my health, improve my health. So I also started joining in the evening walk. The way the conversations happened, it is like how Uma Madam has mentioned, like a soulmate. That kind of conversation. Like within 20 days, we exchange from childhood to our education, from the love, the what has happened in the college days, what are the good things we did in the college days, bad things, whatever we could not able to share with my wife also, my parents also, each and everything we exchange. And even the family also, whatever the fight has happened, why he like his wife, all so many exchange or happened. And good thing is, whenever we call, he will pick the call, even he is a chartered accountant, or if he's busy also, he will send message and he will return call me back. And we will mutually understand and respect each of us thoughts. He's like a real friend. I never seen till my 37 years that one kind of openness to discuss. It is like a relief. I was very happy with that. I'm very much happy with that person is becoming my friend now.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Dinesha. Uh, Blessing again a blessing to find someone like that and build that connect. Many a times it's one-side love or whatever you want to call. The connection doesn't go deeper because of many instances, many presumptions may not be real, but our own fears stop us, our own fears limit us from getting deeper. Should I say this? Will it be backfire? Will it backbite? Or many things that go inside us. I think it is something as a blessing that each one of us should have one connection such where we can open up and discuss things. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Dinesha. Rabia, go ahead now.
Yeah, one of my friends, okay, we were there from the time we were in Inter, we started having friendship. From that day itself, it started off when it was the first day of my college for intermediate. And it was just, you can understand the blooming days of those college days. And it was just the beginning. So we became friends. She was very nice to me when I was very close to her in a very few days, you can say, not moments. The smile we shared, and after then we became friends, and after then we started talking to each other. We used to spend hours together in the college, and then we were coming back home once. It so happened in a week itself, she came to know that where do I stay. And coincidentally, it so happened that she was just living next lane to my house. So then after, we decided we must go back straight together to the college. So from then onwards, the journey started. We both used to go together to the college, we stay there and come back same way back home. And likewise, the days passed by, and then she became like a family friend, you can say. She started coming, visiting to my house, and we used to have a nice time together. Likewise, days went on, then we completed our graduation. And then after, I continued for my PG, and then she got married. Then after, I attended her marriage, and it was like the thing was, I was crying like anything because I was thinking that she's going to be parted. But it so happened that after her wedding, then in a month or two, she went to Saudi also, okay, with her husband. And then after, she had around 3 children, and then I was pursuing my PG. So that time we do not had this WhatsApp and all those kind of things. So we used to write letters to each other. that was so loving and caring. You won't believe. We used to remember our birthdays. We used to send the cards. I used to visit specifically to Archie's gallery to collect some cards for her and then post it to her. And she used to send the same. And once in a year, whenever she used to visit, she used to meet me. And after from there, she went to Canada. Then after, the distance was too big in flight, but you won't believe, we hardly meet other friends which I have in Hyderabad itself. I could hardly see them because of time constraint, you can understand. But when she comes from Canada, it is a point she makes that we must meet. And she reunite all the group members, and we go on holidays or somewhere or the other and have a lunch or a dinner somewhere, and then we enjoy like anything. That would be the best days of our life. And then still now she is there with me, and she talks to me. If ever you happen to see me late night on WhatsApp, that is she who talks to me all the time.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you. Interesting story. I think it's a very long story with regard to the connection and the building of bond and continuity. And if it still is there today, that's a blessing again. Dr. Rashmi, would you like to share any story or any connection or any conversation that you have had where you have connected with people and the bond has been built?
Yes, I have. But these incidents I will never forget, because when I come from India, that time my English was really horrible, means I feel like this because once my husband friend came and he was, I said, can I make tea? So they said yes, and I make masala tea and he vomit, So, and then I asked, oh my God, I don't understand his English. So my husband said he was German and he was speaking in Germany, And then I was listening carefully and I couldn't understand single word, So that is the fun, means that then I understood, no, because of he was speaking in German. And second incident, I went for, I like to start somewhere. So I just went to do yoga exam and all, because here you can't do practice without insurance. So I need to, even yoga also I did in India, the Kaivalya Dham in Lonavala. But still they said, no, we are not considered that degree here. So you have to again complete the teacher training course. So I completed that teacher training course and I went for interview, because that all examiner, they will lively, they will ask you, how you are performing and all. So as soon as I went and the system, I have to submit my lesson plan and all before I conduct the session. So I just submitted her my lesson plan and all, and she, on the front of my face, she said, if I don't understand your English and if my student will not understand your English, sorry, I will make you fail. Means I'm really sorry to say like this. And I can't believe, I was so upset. Beforehand I was so like a discouraged. This is like a discouragement, And then my all friends said she should not say like this, because this is not means if somebody will say like this before presentation, then you have to complain about them or sue them or like this, But I just kept quiet and I was really scared. And I was on that day, I just went to present my session, and you can't believe, all student was such a, means I was just explaining them my meditation and relaxation and all, and they literally slept over, means completely sleep. So, and after my session, everybody come to me and they said, oh my God, where you learn from yoga and all, And she was just watching me, one of the examiner who told me, she was just watching me and she was just shocked. And you can't believe, she is my best friend now. Yeah, and she's she's Essex. Essex means I'm staying in Essex, so she's Essex in charge of yoga, and she is now my best friend, and she always guide me. So I
Thank
will
you.
never forget because of this incidents. She's my best friend, and I will never forget this incidents. Means it is changed my life. Turning point of my life.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful. So, an interesting lesson over here from this. Not all bad starts will lead to bad endings. A bad start can also lead to good endings if and how you navigate the conversation. It was beautiful to listen when Rashmi said that she didn't go on to sue her or she didn't go on to reply. She's just went ahead with her business, delivered the session, and she got the applaud. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Rashmi. A beautiful story that I'll remember for long now. Anyone else would like to share? Uma ma'am?
Yeah, this is regarding the relationship which I had with my mother-in-law. I always relish it. And they always say that you have to go more than halfway when in a relationship. Like you don't wait for the other person to make a start or initiative, you go more than halfway. And we had some common bonding or common interests, which made us connect from the beginning. And I always felt that she was like my grandmother because of the difference in age. I was 22, she was 65 when I got married. And she was very interested in reading. She was good at English. And we used to fight for the paper to solve jumbles and crosswords and things like that. So that built an instant connection. She was good in music. I was also interested in music. And then she was good at baking. So I learned baking from her. She learned making greeting cards and flower making from me. So the love or affection was mutual. And since I was the youngest daughter-in-law, maybe she felt that I was like a daughter to her. And she used to come to our place of transfer, wherever we went, to my elder brother-in-law's house. And in one such instance, when she spoke to me over the phone, she said, "You are..."
Uma?
Okay. I'll just switch on my...
Yeah. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So in one such instance, she told, when she was speaking to me over the phone, she said, "You are the best daughter-in-law." And that left a great impact on me. And I just told it to my co-sisters also, which I should not have. And they felt really jealous. So, but I realized that you have to go more than halfway, and you don't get such words from a person offhand. So I realized that you should make some effort to be in the eyes of such people and to get such good words. You have to do some effort, no? And not purposefully, but it was mutual, no? Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, ma'am. I think I loved that line when you said you have to go more than halfway. Thank you for sharing that. Akanksha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a conversation I've had with a friend very recently. Again, we were friends from 10 years, and we are poles apart, entirely opposite. To simplify it, I was the Gate, she was the Aditya. I used to talk a lot. She used to be the one listening. We were completely opposite. I pick up calls in a second, and she doesn't answer her call till you call her 5 times over. So we were poles apart, and we still bonded over the slightest movies or something or the other. For 10 years we've known each other, but yet we never had a deep conversation until last Saturday or something. It was a deep conversation about us, our past. It might sound funny to you when I say past, being a 16-year-old, but it was like that. In school, we've had a lot of fights or the regular things, and those things that we never spoke about. It was midnight, and 2 a.m. I think is the best time for conversations heart to heart. And it happened all of a sudden. We were talking about maths, and the next moment we were talking about what happened in our past, about the trauma or anything, memories, trauma. And that conversation, it was something I never had with anyone. It was a complete heart to heart, open conversation to a point where we were both crying our hearts out to each other because we both made mistakes in our bond. Both of us, we had silly fights, and yet we overcame all that. And we were talking about how far we've came with our bond, from fighting over silly things to having a conversation like this in the middle of the night. And it was a very raw, open, and a very beautiful instance for me, because for someone who I've been friends with for 10 years, it was the first time. Yeah.
Thank you. 10 years, 2M call, best time. Good ones, good ones. I'm loving these insights and inputs. Anyone else would like to share? We'll have one more and then we'll close the session for today. Who's up? Anyone else would like to share any moment or a conversation where you've connected with someone? Waiting for one more or two more stories and then we'll get going with the closure. Ellen, Bikash, Shahid. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Yes, Shahid, go ahead.
yeah, I would love to share a story about.
Shahid, your voice is not clear. Can you take your audio piece closer or something like that?
Is it okay now?
Okay now, yeah.
Okay, 1 second. I'll check it. So, recently I had a chance to speak to many people, and yeah. So this is about this is like I was speaking to my mentor regarding my speeches and everything. So at that point of time, she asked me questions about me. Like, okay, this is about speeches. So, what are you really doing in your life? Like, who are you? She asked, like, who are you? So this question, and I was about to say my name and like, okay, like my designation and everything, but she said no, this is not the thing. Like, think of this question. So I really thought of that question for a week and so, and it helped me in prioritizing my stuff and maintaining time really well. So that's one conversation with my mentor, which have really a great impact on my life. So that's from my side.
Thank you, Shahid. Interesting insight. Asking the right question. I think we have all had stories about how one right question and we get a lot more deeper in our conversations. Akanksha, go ahead.
So this is a follow-up to what happened the same. I shared a conversation with you about what happened with my lecturer, right? So the same day, this conversation, I shared only a part of it. I saved it for later. That was the academic part of it, but this was a part where I opened up to him about how I always thought of my other lecturers, what would they think of me? I saw myself from a third perspective point of view and not how I really saw myself. It was always from others' eyes. What would others think of me if I did this? What would they do if I got good marks? I was studying for them more than for myself. I wanted that appreciation from them. I wanted the validation from them. So I told him, I told him openly that I wanted the validation from everyone else. And he was like, why do you see yourself from other people's point of view? How is it going to even impact you? He told me that one thing he told me was be selfish. Think only and only about yourself. Put everyone else next. Because everyone else always came above me to me. I came like the last. My opinion would be always be influenced by others' thoughts. He said this, so this is my opinion now. She told me this is a good thing, so this is what I think is a good thing. It was always based off other people's opinions, and he told me put yourself first because no one is going to save you after a point. It's you who has to save yourself. No one will come to your rescue and be your Lord and Savior. It's you who is going to ultimately save yourself from any occasion. If you're in a point where you don't have any friends, it's still fine because back then when I had this conversation with him, I didn't have many friends in college. The only thing he told me was like, your friends are going to stay with you for 2 years. Next, you will be busy with your own thing, but you'll have to survive with yourself for the whole life. You can't just be disconnected from yourself and be expected other people to stay connected to you. So that had influenced me a lot. I'm not going to say that the day he had a conversation with me and the next day everything was perfectly fine. I am all of a sudden, woke and everything is fixed in my life. No, because the conversations like that don't have that kind of impact they show you in the movies. Overnight, everything changed. No, that won't happen. But every time I think what others will think of me, of how much I'm scoring, when what others will feel about that, the one thought comes in like, is this what he told you? Is this what your favorite lecturer told you for 1.5 hours that day? And you're doing this all over again. So because of he had a conversation with me, I'm able to remind myself that no, this is not what you're supposed to do. This is not the right thing to do. And yeah, I just wanted, he told me in a way that made me want to listen with his offhanded remarks about how I'm being too much into others. So that changed my life forever. It did. It really did. That one moment with my chemistry lecturer, that one day, it will have an impact for me forever, I think. Thank you.
Right now, forever seems a long time, but yeah, these do last a long time. So with this, we come towards the end for today's session, and the entire theme for this month, when we talked about impactful conversations, was moving from breaking the ice to lasting connection, lasting connect to deeper conversations. The entire theme was on this idea that we, in the present times, not the generation, but in the present times, for all of us equally, we are missing out on the art of building connections through conversations. We rarely find an opportunity to get deeper, dig deeper, show our vulnerability, and connect with people. Unless we take that step forward, like Mama mentioned, we have to go more than halfway. Or someone else mentioned about personalizing or asking question, keeping your mind open to receiving. Someone didn't scold. Someone said, go more than halfway, deeper conversation that lasted, the 2M conversations. I've had so many insights that I've heard from all these nostalgic conversations today. To talk of it, we are talking of nostalgia because these were, except for Akanksha, a lot of these things were a thing of past for us. But for us to actually build deeper connections with people, not the Facebook friends or the subscribers or the followers or the connections that we call, but deeper connections. And at the end of it, it's not like a big list. If you can count your deeper connections on your fingertips and still have the numbers move up more than your fingers, you're blessed. I've been blessed all through my life, possibly one aspect of it being that I have always had deeper conversations rather than just the hi, hello, and being in touch, that kind of conversations. I've been blessed all through my life. Just a demonstration of that was yesterday, where I have met Chetan Gandhi from Speak Up Club, whom I've known for 2 years. I have met an MBA, a friend from MBA whom I've known since 2008. I've met a classmate who was my chaddi buddy dost. We were like in the same line while I was in the 8th, 9th, 10th. So that's from 1998. So I've met a teacher who joined our school when he was in 1995. He joined our school and he got married in 1998 when I joined the school. So all these 4 people I have met in a single day while I was traveling to Pune. Last week, I had gone for a marriage to the same place where I've studied, and coincidentally, I had a chance to meet all these things. And I feel, despite not being in touch with many of them on a continuous basis, like friends talk on a daily basis and all that stuff. One person I didn't talk for the last almost, to what I remember, I didn't talk with him since the last 18 years. And yet, when we connected, when we sat down, the conversation took off like that. And the possibility of that is how much of a shorter duration that you could have with someone. It's not about the time or the length of the relationship that you've had, but the depth of the conversations that you've had. That is what makes the entire difference to building deeper, meaningful, and fulfilling relationships. I think that is what makes the entire difference. The idea of impactful conversation was less on the impact and more on having the conversation. Today, I've heard Rashmi talking about someone who turned into a friend, Rabia talking about someone who went to Canada and still you are connected, Akanksha talking about a teacher or a 10-year-old relationship, which got actually deeper in the last 1 week, or Madhu talking about some teacher, Uma ma'am talking about mother-in-law, or someone else talking about something. But the entire idea was going back to nostalgia or going back to these good fond memories was with the intention to make you realize that if you're nostalgic about something today, it was because you invested yourself into the conversations, into that connection at a much deeper level. And that is what made you nostalgic about it, or made you memory stronger about what happened then. But if I were to ask you, 10 years later, if you have to become nostalgic about something which is happening now or in the upcoming 10 years, be certain that you are having impactful conversations while you're talking and engaging with people. Trust people. It's okay. You will get hurt. You will be backbited. You will feel broken when some relationships go sour, some relationships don't work out. But please do not let that sour experience miss the opportunity of finding the great ones, because that's the cost that you pay for finding the good, deeper connections by having deeper conversations with people. With that, we sign off today's session and the theme for this month about impactful conversations with this Friday. And like I always said, I've had this one instance where a friend, when I called him and I talked to him and he asked me, how are you? Like I would say to 100 different people, I'm fine. What's up with you? How are things? I could tell it to that one friend, I'm not fine. I'm not feeling well. We need to talk. I'm just hoping that you all are blessed with at least one individual other than yourself with whom you can have a deeper conversation and build a deeper connect. And that is something that you'll cherish for a long time. With that, signing off this Friday and the last Friday of February with this theme, impactful conversations, and we'll be announcing the next theme in the next 2-3 days because I've been a little occupied. I'll be sharing the next month's theme. And if anyone is interested who are not a part of ICM, the Inner Circle membership, you can please feel free to connect with me and also invite your friends and family if you feel this is something that would excite them. These are conversations that they would be feeling excited about and becoming a part of the club. More than happy to welcome them in. So until then, next Saturday, next Friday, see you all. Good night, everyone.